Okay, so I'm Ted's wife, Kathleen, and I'm going to give you some of the other side of the story of what happened to him. Initially, when he became quite ill with his heart condition, I was at a shrine called Marytown, and I was praying in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and something fell at my feet that I knew came from the person behind me. And I picked it up, and it was a holy card that said, "Jesus, I trust in you, and holy is his name." And so I picked it up and I turned it around to hand it, to the person who dropped it, and it was a brother from Marytown. And Brother Martin looked at me and said, "No, Mary said this is for you." So I took it and put it in my pocket, and I looked at it every day. "Jesus, I trust in you, and holy is his name." And when Ted had a crisis occur, he spoke to some monks, some priests out in New Jersey, and no, it was Rhode Island, and they talked to him on the phone and prayed over him, and they said, over the phone they prayed over him, and they said, "You need to go in front of the Blessed Sacrament every day for a year." So, every single day for a year, we would drive to Marytown, which had perpetual adoration. And this is the same place where I got the card. And some days he was so ill he couldn't even make it up the front steps. So I would go up the front steps, I would open the door to Marytown so he could see the Blessed Sacrament, and then he'd have to go back in the car and we'd leave. And those were very difficult days, but he didn't miss. He kept going because we trusted in him. So when Ted had his death experience and he had the Blessed Virgin appear to him, he woke up and he said to me, "I can't tell you what happened to me. I don't think I could ever speak it to anyone." And these are the first words he's saying to me after being in a coma for 5 or 6 days. And then finally he was able to speak. And one of the sins that God said troubled him most was using God's name in vain. And it made me remember what was on the card. Holy is his name. So the card that I picked up and I still possess, it actually is in a Ziploc bag because it's now in pieces. I've rubbed it so hard over these years. Said it all. "Jesus, I trust in you, and holy is his name." And Ted had the Blessed Virgin touch his face. And he said it was a touch that you'll never forget. And one night we were sleeping and we were praying for someone. This was right after his transplant. This was when he got the LVAD, the mechanical heart, and we were praying our rosary for someone who was dying. And he said he fell asleep and we didn't get the rosary done. And he woke me up in the middle of the night and he said to me, "She's here." I said, "What?" And he said, "She put her hand on my face. I know the touch. Mary's here." And we never said our rosary for this man. So I said, "Okay, I'm up." So we said our rosary. And the next week, I find out that man died. At that hour, when Mary woke us up to say the rosary for that man, happened to be that moment that he died. And the rest of the story about that was that when the man died, his mother was in the room, and his mother yelled out, "Dear Lord, isn't there anyone who will pray for my son to take him to you? Is there anyone out there, Mary, who will pray for us?" And she said, "You were the ones that Mary woke up to say the prayers to get my son through his death into Mary's arms." It was interesting that I met this woman because I never even met the man we were praying for. I just knew of him. And Mary has a unique touch, and Ted has experienced it those 2 times. And he's been a very blessed man. He's suffered a lot, and he continues to have, a life that requires a lot of restrictions that come with a heart transplant. But Jesus, I trust in you, and holy is his name, is what got us through everything. And that's the best we can teach people of our experience.